Hey, collective. How's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Welcome into the channel. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to do a weekly check-in, midweek check-in via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come in. So let's get into it. Grab a coffee, grab a tea, grab a beverage. I'm going to take a sip. Good morning vibes, early morning vibes. We are in Aquarius season and just coming off of a full moon. The full moon, there hasn't been a lot going on astrologically, but the full moon has definitely heightened emotions, feelings, and we can definitely feel it, even obviously, but even if we're not necessarily having a lot go on in our life, right? It's more just reverberations or things that keep playing out in our mind, that type of thing. Things we're passionate about or we feel really sensitive around. And I was hearing, as I was preparing, right now it's so much about perspective. There's a lot that either is not working, like we're just coming up against resistance or certain blocks, or it's not the right timing type vibe, or we're not paying attention. It's kind of like one of the two. And obviously either have or both have room for improvement, places we can kind of readjust, rebalance. And what that means when we do that, it actually helps us align better with the desires of our heart, with what we're trying to manifest, what we're trying to go after. It's that value that you can't just sit around and expect things to magically pop up in your life. There has to be some action potential behind it, even though the action looks very different. And I was hearing so much of it is about perspective. It's about our perspective. It's about what lens we're looking at things through. Maybe a little redundant, but if we think about that value and take a step back, if we're letting certain things infiltrate our mind, our thought life, our emotions, it's definitely ties back to what the perspective is. And I was talking about this actually with my son last night. It can be really hard to shift our perspective because we have our own hurts, our own woundings, the places that we see certain things or interpret certain things from. Ayurveda looks at this like it's our pitta. It's how we're transforming. Pitta is all about transformation. It's how we take things in, how our body's able to transform, and then what the output is. So if our glasses are a little foggy, clouded, it's not going to be a life-honoring perspective, maybe. And when I'm saying life-honoring, I'm not shaming by saying that, but it's going to be more the things that are, coming from those places of hurt, of pain, those places that are locking us into stagnation, where we feel put down, like we can't actually do anything because what's the point? And those are really heavy places to be, especially depending on where you're coming from, what you're navigating through right now. It can be really heavy when we don't feel like we have certain needs being met, especially foundational needs. I feel like today, just remember that value of perspective as you walk through your day. There might be some things that you're able to change and overcome and bring a little bit more life into. That always feels really good, right? And even if it's not that, even if it is just that value of bringing awareness, bringing understanding to your heart, that is really powerful in and of itself. Because we can't do anything if we're not aware, right? We can't take action or we can't make adjustments if we don't have that awareness and understanding. That's really pivotal right now as well, because most where we're seeing the resistance in the astrology is with Uranus. It just went direct. So changes are starting to happen. It was lockdown in Taurus for a hot minute. forcing us to work on what's in front of us, the people, the situations that are, you know, we're dealing with. And now there's a little more freedom to make some movements. So we'll dive into all that. This isn't going to be hopefully crazy long. I don't know. We'll see where the energy takes us, but I'm going to start off with an energy cleansing. Just set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. Cleanse out those places we might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It's a really great way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in that rebalancing of self, your mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're grounded, strong, established in self, aware of self, right? That's really where we're able to manifest our happiness, our fulfillment. And I would love to support that in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I've been running behind on my website, but it is coming. It's been a lot. I've been juggling a lot, so thank you for your patience. But there is info to get into contact with me if you're interested. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, and the love. Smoky today. All right. So I'm hearing like there's some readjusting that you do need to be doing. Like I was picking up this energy of you just feeling parched, dried out. Maybe that's a weird way to say it, but it's like as if you have the motivation, you have the drive, but maybe it's just like whatever energy you do have, it keeps getting sucked out from under you. As I was talking about, there are some tense aspects with Uranus and Mercury today. And it really talks about how when we're not understanding what's going on, what other people are doing, they're not understanding what we're doing, that's kind of where some of that resistance or frustration is getting highlighted. We don't really like everything that's happening just as much as people aren't liking certain aspects of how you're acting, choices you're making, etc. I love this overarching energy of midwife because it really talks about how it's important to nurture yourself today. It's important to take care, you know, in a way that maybe almost feels a little bit too much, but your soul needs it. Let me gather my thoughts. In the way, maybe let's describe this better, in the way that, a mother would take care of you. It doesn't have to be your own mother, especially if you have difficulties in that relationship. And sometimes thinking of that relationship can be really tough. You know, the mother is the foundation. She's the sustenance. She's the support for our livelihood. And especially when we do not have a mother who is supportive, who is nurturing, who does fight or root for us, we have to find that in other ways. And this today, it's about connecting with this type of energy wherever you find yourself. Because we do have some tense aspects coming against our emotional world. This is stuff we've been feeling around since the full moon, and it's still kind of continuing to perpetuate. The moon is tensely aspected to Saturn and to Neptune. So it's the places that like we don't want to listen, or we don't want to acknowledge what's going on, or we don't want to do the work in order to make the changes happen. Like I was talking about in the very beginning. The falcon, messenger bird. I'm hearing that it's also like the I know it's not an eagle, so excuse me, but like it is that eagle eye perspective, that bird's eye perspective. I'll go with that one. Being able to not get so dialed into what's going on. I know that sounds maybe a little counterintuitive. I think that's nature, right? Our natural reaction is to go towards the problem, to try to fix it, to try to make it better, etc. Dreamer, I like this energy, needing a little bit more space and time for your heart to dream. And that kind of goes back to what I was just saying about not getting too dialed in, too plugged in. Not only to the messiness, but it's just the places that we really don't want to connect our energy to certain people, certain situations. Energy is very precious right now. There is a lot of creation that's happening through the change. And even though, like, maybe that's not manifesting front and center right now, maybe things are taking a while, it's still working in the background. It's still something we need to kind of plan and prepare for, so to speak. And when we're so upfront and in something, it's very hard to do that. That's why it's so important to take this step back. The step back is not only for that perspective I was talking about in the very beginning, but it's also so you can dedicate some time and energy to yourself, to loving on yourself. Whatever that looks like for you, there's a myriad of ways we can do that nowadays. We have so much access to self-care, you know, whether it's going somewhere, getting a service done, you know, I'm obviously into the Eastern side of things, but acupuncture, you can do a yoga class, you can go for a walk, do a meditative walk, do a meditation, take a bubble bath, put some herbs in there, you know, an oil massage. Those are like, Ayurveda's huge into oil massage, and it's like the best thing ever. It's like warm oil rubbing all over your body. You can add essential oils to it. It's just so nurturing and supportive. And that's what this is all about. It's anything that really like supports yourself right now during this time on those foundational levels. Because you do have a lot going on. I'm seeing a lot of different energies being engaged within yourself, and you're probably also experiencing this outside of yourself as well. It is still, like I am still kind of getting this value of things aren't moving too quickly, or there are some things up and coming that will help the energy flow a little bit more, but they haven't manifested quite yet. So there's a little bit of some dead space. Maybe that's a better way to say it. And that's why planning preparation is great right now. I don't think it's great to invest all of your energy into that. I think some of the understanding about what you need to do for yourself is going to actually manifest when you take care of yourself. It's actually amazing. Like Ayurveda is such a powerful way to naturally support our body, mind, soul. And what I found in my practice is when you actually do that, it helps everything else fall in line, like those domino pieces, which is the best thing ever, right? Because we're so mentally driven in modern society, working our way through things, problems, issues, and that's great. Yes, it's a great tool to have. I'm very thankful for my mind. But there's also this value of when we surrender, when we're not trying so hard actually it constricts the channels of flow. But when we're doing some breathing exercises or just allowing ideas, inspiration to come to our mind, that's just as powerful, if not even more, because we're tapping into that unified field. So Ace of Cups pops up for us. There's an offer in your environment today or around today, whenever you find this reading. You've taken some steps to give yourself some autonomy. Nine of Pentacles. I think that whatever you're dealing with is having a hard time. Five of Cups is a pretty bleak energy. It's in their blocked energy. Someone or something who's really disappointed with like how they've done things, but it also feels like it's kind of taken a while for them to get here. Ace of Cups and Five of Cups equals Six of Cups. People, relationships of the past, things that have been around for quite some time, things that definitely are up on the chopping block is what it feels. Not to, if that doesn't resonate with you, don't pick it up, right? I don't want to do the fear mongering at this channel. Yeah, you're going to know in your situation whether it's something you're trying to close the door on or not. You're holding your ground around something. And I think a lot of this is actually coming through your independence, through your ability to separate yourself from certain dynamics. This is part of you recognizing when you take that step back, what's actually realistic. The other value of taking a step back is we end up seeing like what really is going to work and what's not, right? Sometimes we have to play the guessing game. Sometimes we have to throw something out there and see where it lands. But a lot of times, if we're so in the energy, we have the blinders on, right? And so when we can take that step back, it's easier to see if I do, say, engage in this way, is it going to get me somewhere, or is it just fueling more of the toxicity that's present in this situation? Someone wants to say they were juggling a lot. There might be some excuses coming up around this energy that you're dealing with. Seven of Cups, wanting to put options on the table. Lots of water energy. The emotions that you are picking up. We have 10 of Cups, which I like. It looks like someone's really willing to work with you. I think there is a lot of sadness. There is some tension. And we're seeing that especially. It's more about like movement and progress forward that we're seeing the tension. It's when long-standing patterns are being forced to change and everybody has to get on board. The people that aren't getting on board, that are creating the resistance and the frustration, well, those are the things that we're going to more than likely be cutting off, you know? Whereas if it's just hard for people, hard for everyone involved, but there's still progress being made, that's where we're seeing a little bit more hope on the horizon. And that's what I'm seeing with this dynamic for you. There's more tension in the astrology today than support. But the way that the support is playing out in the astrology ends up becoming more powerful. Because so much of it is about, again, I keep coming up with perception. I was going to say like how our emotions are interpreting what's happening. And it looks like you're dealing with someone or something, or this could be within yourself, but who was doing just that. Focusing on problems instead of lack is another message with the Five of Cups. There's new inspiration for connection. someone's feeling invigorated, but not at the same time. Okay. Ace of Wands, Knight of Wands, Nine of Wands. So we get all this emotional energy and then all this fire energy. And that can be a little bit of a interesting balance to try to maintain, because fire and water can play off of each other, maybe in a little bit of a intense way. Well, and especially with how someone is keeps coming back, especially if there are long-standing patterns in this dynamic. You have the Ten of Swords in your blocked energy. So this is repeated mistakes over and over and over again. And someone maybe not really recognizing that. Well, I wouldn't say that they are, because the Knight of Wands is pretty immature or doesn't really think too deep, right? But there's a desire to work it out or work through. Maybe getting some type of mediator if it's necessary. Someone who can kind of be a buffer between whatever this is. Okay, because I want to see how collective, how your energy plays with this Knight of Wands. Getting someone to kind of buffer whatever intensity this is. So it's like someone's coming at you with fire and you have to match it with fire. But you're doing so in a very strong and authoritative way. The Emperor is Aries energy, fire energy. And it's somewhat, okay, like it looks like someone's coming to explain a lot of things to you. And I think it's gonna help, right? Like we're seeing conversation bringing in some messages that help everybody involved, all parties. The Awakener, it's waking us up to the realities of certain situations. Let's see why the Green Man is in the blocked energy. Maybe it's beneficial. We're ending with the Ten of Cups. I'm seeing someone being more accommodating, willing to look at the options, willing to look at what's available. So I'll pick that one too. Okay, the Green Man is Eight of Swords, the Three of Pentacles. So this is places in the past where it almost feels like impossible to find a way through it. King of Swords. So the King of Swords can be very like decided about his opinion and like, well, if we're not going to do it this way, it's never going to work type thing. And that's where this feminine energy is really helping to support you today, because I feel like it's allowing you to soften. That surrender component is coming up a lot, especially with perspectives, how we're understanding, interpreting the things that are happening to us right now. Yeah, it looks like there's been some mistakes made. But again, it kind of goes back to that message of over dialing in too much, where we really need to be up here instead of down here. Yeah, you can focus in when necessary, but it's working to the detriment of the situation right now. It's why there isn't a lot of movement. It's why things have been blocked. Everyone involved might be like, there's a lot of defensive energy. Struggling to find options, solutions. Maybe even just like having certain values, and if people don't adhere to that, then cut it. Now, I don't want to say cutting them off. Again, everyone's situation is going to be different, but maybe it just makes you deal with them. I love it. I love it. Full circle moment, new perspective, guys. I love it. The cards never lie. So powerful. So beautiful. Bringing in a new perspective. So also make sure that you're, okay, I like this. Find your calm and inspire yourself. You might be, I don't know, your energy is not as very defensive, but you definitely have been like holding fast to your beliefs, like what you think you should be doing. And you're very firm in that, like you're not very flexible. And I feel like that's kind of where this immaturity comes from the other person, situation, group of people that you're dealing with. Excuse me. Let's see what fell out. 2. Okay. You are Stardust, spiritual truth. Okay, I'm going to put these back in. Learning some truths that might not have been very present or relevant before. It feels hopeful. It feels hopeful. If I sound a little hesitant, I'm a little on the fence with how this person's situation is showing up to you, because it is very fickle energy. I think that that's where options on the table is incredibly important. There might be some options that you feel comfortable with that someone else does not. And that's where some of this, because I feel like once you finally have a conclusive conversation, a conversation around how things are going to move forward, there is a little bit of a wake-up call here. And maybe it's for both parties, maybe it's just for one. I don't think that this is there's something about this situation that's not easy to flip the perspective on. But Spirit's asking you to challenge yourself. Like, there might be more options than what you even realize sitting on this end of things. And let's look. The Goddess Within. I love that. Again, confirmation on that divine feminine energy. Surrendering. Again, we don't necessarily like everything that's happening right now. That's definitely where some of that tension and frustration is coming into play. Especially when we have to like humble ourselves, or I heard bend the knee. I don't think it is that though. I'm really seeing this as it's a lot about like stepping stones and what's getting us to the next space. And sometimes we need a little bit of help from something that we might not like a whole bunch, but it's just helping us get to the next space. And that can be difficult for anyone to make peace with, especially if, you know, you're coming from a situation where there is a lot of betrayal and backstabbing, etc. Those things are really hard to wrap our mind around. But if this person, situation, group of people is coming back to you and like, hey, I messed up, or these are the reasons, or bringing some insight, then it's up to you to kind of decide whether you want to move forward with it or not. Is there enough evidence to maybe explore a little bit deeper? And that's kind of what I'm seeing. I really would continue to encourage you to remain in this 9 of Pentacles energy. Just because someone reaches out or wants to make amends or whatever, it doesn't mean you have to mesh yourself with that person or go back to how it was before. It's still important to have your boundaries. It's still important to have your wits about you, because we've been kind of seeing some tricky energy pop up. We see it in the astrology with the North Node tensely aspected to Black Moon Lilith. So just keep your antennae up, right? Like, don't cave in. Make sure you're continuing to dream your own dreams. But there might be something that you can kind of work with in a way that will help you achieve those dreams, so to speak, or navigate you in that direction. And also, like, if you are able to choose that, there's also this like space of kind of lessening some of your burden around like the unnecessary drama that it feels like some of this has brought into play, whether it's just a situation that's continued on for too long or got messier than what it needed to be, etc. There are some things that can kind of help make it not so irritating and annoying for you. But a lot of that is going to be found out whenever these conversations come up, how many options people are allowing in. Oh, yeah. Oh, 7, 8, 10. Well, we don't have the 9 of Cups, but in progress. And making sure that people aren't like feeding into the toxicity anymore. That's what 8 of Cups is all about. It's being able to like walk away from the BS, not let it choose better things, right? Be better, be a person of integrity. We've been talking about that a lot. And I'm not saying this from you. I'm also saying this from what you're dealing with. Whoever, whatever, you want to make sure that they're ascribing to those rules too. Everybody's got to play nice right now. And the people who are not playing nice are definitely the ones we need to figure out what we're going to do with as we move forward. All right, collective. Thank you so much for your time, energy always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to hear or just to connect, say hey, sharing a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support you bring to the channel. No, it blesses my heart. I hope you have a fabulous day. I will be checking in again, I think Saturday or Sunday. I'll post it. I know I didn't post this morning. I apologize, but I'm working to make it a consistent morning check-in. So stay tuned. I'm still, refining my schedule. I appreciate the patience always, and just know I'm sending love and blessings your way. Have a fabulous